Hello friends! Welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. So today's budgeting video is going to be a little bit different because I have variable income and sometimes I don't make as much money as I want to make. I'm paid week to week and this is one of those weeks where I'm not going to have as much money as I normally do. I normally have to work with. In fact, I only have I believe $85 here. Let's see, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85. Yeah. So as far as all of my cash goes, so everything I do in cash, I'm only going to have $85 to work with this week. So let's just jump in and I'll show you how I'm going to handle that situation. Let's close out last week's budget first, and then we'll set up this week's budget with what we have to work with. So we're going to start with last week, and let's talk about where we spent our money last week. Last week was what I'd call like a normal week in that we had all the money that we wanted for our budget we had available. So last week, I'm still missing my purple stickers. I have ordered some more from Cara Jo Plans. So as soon as those come in, I'm going to replace this purple ink with purple stickers. But in the meantime, we had to pay MetroNet, which is our internet service, and that was $99. Okay, first we had a mortgage payment of $13.35. Then we had an SUV payment of $118. And we made a $60 payment to our Visa card. We are currently trying to pay off this debt as quickly as possible, so we're making a payment to them every week. Okay, next up is food. We spent $200 on food this week. I know that number seems high to some people, but for us, it's just enough. It's just perfect. We have tried to do lower and it just never works out for us. And in fact, we've also done much higher, not intentionally, but that we have had occasions where we spent a lot more than $200 a week. So spending $200 a week, I'm happy with that. Okay, gas is $20. Miscellaneous is $40. Then we had spending money, and that was $50. We did not do the savings challenge last week because we're focusing all of our extra money that we can come up with, we're putting it towards this Visa debt. So we're going to skip the savings challenge for a little while we focus on that. And then we put $123 towards our sinking funds. Okay, so let's update the worksheets and see how this all works out. So starting with our monthly budget. So the way my family budgets is we have a monthly budget and we have weekly budgets. So our monthly budget are most of our fixed expenses, so our bills and debts, most of them, which are covered by my husband's paycheck. He's paid once a month, it's a fixed amount, and his paycheck covers most of these bills. All the other bills that aren't covered by his paycheck, we cover week to week with my paycheck, which like I said earlier, is variable. Okay, so this week, mortgage came out and it was exactly $13.35, just as we budgeted. MetroNet came out and it also was exactly what we budgeted, $99. And SUV, I believe, was the same. Yeah, nice. We were right on with all of our estimations. That's awesome. We're usually not very far off because these are fixed, but they do vary a little bit here and there every once in a while. Okay, moving on to our week one budget. So I just want to show you how I use my expense tracker. So I write down all the expenses from the week. I color code them by budget category, and then I make a key. Oh, I forgot to add them up together. I need to add them up together. Then I have a key at the bottom. And then at the end of the month, when I go to this section here to close out my budget categories, it makes that process easier. I know exactly how much I spent in each category from week to week. So starting with income, so last week was a good week for us. We were able to pay what we would like to make every week, which is $600. We also received extra money from Buy Me a Coffee. These are tips from some of our viewers. We never ever expect them, and we're always so grateful when we receive them. And we used that money to pay off extra debt last week. So that was $50 from there. So altogether we had $650 to work with. Coming down to our sinking funds, so we reached all of the goals for our sinking funds this past week, which was $3 for Amazon, $7 for back to school, $10 for birthdays, $10 for car maintenance, $5 for car registration, $25 for Christmas, $3 for Sam's, $50 for vacation, and $10 for vet. So altogether, we were able to save $123 last week in our sinking funds. So $650 minus $123 is $527. So coming up here to our fixed expenses, we put $142 towards loan number 2. Loan number 2 is a debt consolidation loan, and just like with the Visa down here, we're making a payment every week because we're trying to pay it off more aggressively. This is actually a fixed payment, and it comes out of our bank account automatically, so that one I don't do in cash, but everything else on this page is done in cash. That and food is not cash, but everything else is cash. Okay, garbage was $5, so this is a bill that we cover with my paycheck. We actually pay garbage once every 3 months, but we put $5 a week aside every week to help us pay that bill. Alliant, we put aside $10 every week to help pay that bill, which comes out once a month. So altogether, that is $157. So $527 minus $157 is $370. Okay, moving down to our variable expenses. This is the category where we sometimes go over, but luckily this week we were able to stick to our budget. So we spent $200 on food, $20 on gas, $40 on miscellaneous, and $50 on spending. So altogether we spent $310. So $370 minus $310 is $60. We put that $60 towards our Visa, and so that meant we spent $60 in this category, bringing our budget down to $0. We try to zero out our budget every week. That is our goal, which just means that we have a place for our money. We've told our money where to go. We know where our money is. Okay, let's set up week number 2. Okay, so we're not going to have as much money this week to work with that we would like. So we're going to have to change some things up. So first of all, my income. All of my income goes into my business account, and then from there I pay myself. So my sources of income are Etsy, YouTube, Patreon. I get some money from different affiliate links occasionally. But that's where most of my income comes from. And then I try to pay myself a consistent amount week to week. Unfortunately, depending on how much I've been able to bring in, I'm not always able to do that. So this week, for example, I am only able to pay myself $427. My goal is to pay myself $600. So as you can see, I'm not going to have as much money to work with this week as I would like. We also occasionally receive money from Buy Me a Coffee. We did not receive any money from that this week, which is totally fine. Like I said, we never, ever expect it. And whenever it does happen, I'm always so surprised. I'm because I know you guys are in a budget too. And the fact that people will make room for us in their budget is just so touching. And so we're just very grateful. But it's okay when we don't get it as well. We're totally fine with that. Okay, so starting with sinking funds, we are not going to be able to put any money towards sinking funds this week. So that's going to remain $0. Coming up here to our fixed expenses. So first of all, loan number 2 comes out of our bank account automatically. So I have to pay that first before I pay anything else because it's going to come out. So $142 is going to go to loan number 2. Now there's 2 other bills that I have to help pay for, and that is garbage and Alliant Energy. Now I don't want to get behind on my bills, so I'm going to go ahead and make those a priority and put money towards that this week. So we are going to put $5 in cash towards that envelope, and we'll do the cash here in just a minute. We are also going to do $10 towards Alliant. So let's go ahead and do that. Earlier I said we have 85 to work with, so 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85. Okay, so I just set these off to the side. Okay, so we're going to put $5 towards garbage. We're trying to save up $60. Once we have $60 saved up, I'll be able to deposit that into my bank account so that I can pay that bill. So now we have 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I said we're going to put 10 towards Alliant. So Alliant, we're trying to save up $40, which after we add the 10 today, we now have 40. So I'm going to deposit this into my bank and I can pay that bill this week. whenever I need to make a deposit into my bank, I just put the money back here. This is the wallet that I carry around with me. I put it back here, and then when I go to the bank, I deposit that money, and then I can pay that bill. Okay, so we have stuffed all of that. So let's see how much that is. 142. So that's 157. So 427 minus 157. That's $270 that we have left to work with. So moving down to our variable expenses. So we have our normal variable expenses are food, gas, miscellaneous, and spending. So we're gonna go ahead and do our $200 towards food. If I had less money to work with, I would take some money away from food, but we have enough to fulfill that 200. And as I said earlier, it's hard enough for us to stick to the 200, so I'd like to just keep it that way. I'd also like to keep up with our gas because I want to make sure we have enough money to get around. And then I am going to be able to put some money towards our spending money. So altogether, that's 270. 220 plus 50 is 270. So we're not going to be able to do miscellaneous this week. And we're not going to be able to make an extra payment to that Visa card this week. So that's all we have. So let's go ahead and stuff those. So 200, like I said, comes out automatically from our bank. We go to Sam's Club and we do the scan and swipe, and we also do a grocery pickup at a local grocery store. So that just all comes out automatically. So we need $20 for gas. And then we need to do our spending money. So I'm going to get 20. So if I had less money to work with, I would take out spending money. Logan's going to get 10. Logan's my son, and I would probably not take his spending money, but my spending money and David's spending money, those are costs that we often are able to cut when we have a low budget, but we had enough to cover it this week, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's it. That's what it's like when you don't, you have a variable income and sometimes you don't make enough money. You've got to make adjustments, and that's what we've done here. Hopefully next week we'll be back up to that 600 and we'll be able to do our sinking funds and make an extra payment because that's always fun. I love paying off debt. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.